Bitter criticism. Reading most of it. Reading CGTN. Above all, CGTN in the garden. I'm not sure if I never did that. I never did this. But I guess it's recording, yeah. I guess it's fine. So just CGTN. Let's read CGTN right away. But yeah, I'm going to start with, well, it's a crazy world out there. Let's do what we do always. No, let's start with this is the first time I'm watching the Al Jazeera app. The Al Jazeera app. I'm reading Al Jazeera in English. I'm not enabled the notifications. I allowed the cookies. I don't know what cookies means. What cookies? Well, the app is not working. Al Jazeera app, not that great. It's not running. Well, I'm going to I went to the site, the regular site from Al Jazeera, and says live updates. You know, first of all, I want to say that last time I read Al Jazeera doing the live updates, it was when this the latest Hamas leader died, and I said that he was a comrade. I'm saying again, but I said that in the title of the video. I said this guy was a comrade. I don't remember his name actually. Well, what happened in Palestine is that they are the Aboriginal people from that region, from Israel, and they are getting decimated, you know. So it's pretty sad because that happened in the last century. Israel is Israel, the Jew people. They are they control the finances of the world, so they have a lot of power. Anyway, and they are racist. They are absolutely racist. And so sorry about the world. We are a lot of people, including myself, we are in this dire situation in life with a lot of trouble, a lot of problems. Palestinians, there were almost 50,000 people died since the last invasion, since the last conflict. And that's what I'm going to keep reading. Israeli strikes target southern Beirut after Hezbollah attacks army base. 15 minutes ago. So Al Jazeera, the app is not working. It's not so fast. Updates: Israel launches new strikes on Beirut. Hezbollah attacks army base. By Lyndall Rowlands, Edna Mohamed, Umud Aras, and Niels Adler. October 21, day 21 of the any month. It's time for smoking weed. Yeah, this day I'm going to smoke weed with Donald Trump and some Brazilian politicians like Boulos, Fernando Henrique Cardoso, and the actual I don't know the name of this the other guy, the actual mayor of São Paulo, who is evangelic. This by Lyndall Rowlands, Edna Mohamed, Umud Aras, and Niels Adler. October 21. This live page has not been closed. You can continue to follow our coverage here. Anyway, 2 minutes ago. Thank you for joining us. This live page is now closed. Watch the aftermath of Israeli strikes on a school in Gaza's Jabalia refugee camp here. You know, and well, I uploaded this last video saying that this guy, the latest Hamas leader, died, was a comrade. I said that, I put in the title, and YouTube just destroy my video. They cancel immediately. They immediately cancel my video, and I changed it. I tried to upload it after that. I try once again upload that, and YouTube censor again because of the code of the video, I guess. Yeah, so the code of the video, they got the code of the video, not just the name of the video, understand? So yeah, I was targeted by the US, by deep state, and it's so sad that, as I was saying, Palestinian people, they are just suffering. Is very hard. I was listening this Daniel Jadue from Chile. Well, our lives in Global South are so hard, are so difficult. Daniel Jadue said he got a lot of problems on his life. He got a lot of problems, but he tried. He improved his life. Anyway, so I wonder. I guess I'm not going to keep smoking weed. I'm just smoking weed this. I don't know. It's been like 4 months. Yeah, it's like 4 times. Then I'm going to stop then, because I'm not buying. I just bought once, and this guy, this marijuana dealer, disappeared. So anyway, I don't smoke. I just smoke the 21st day of every month. And well, Daniel Jadue got in prison, and he told that once he was on Palestine, it was an apartheid system, absolutely apartheid, with 2 states for 2 peoples, for 2 different populations. So anyway, thank you for joining us. This live page is now closed. Watch the aftermath of Israeli strikes on a school in Gaza's Jabalia refugee camp here. To read our feature on how displaced Palestinians reacted to this guy, Haya Sinwar's killing, go here. And you can read about Israel's attack on a Lebanese financial institution linked to Hezbollah here. A lot of things going on. So there are three things happening right now. Aftermath of Israeli strikes on a school in Gaza's Jabalia refugee camp. Haya Sinwar's killing. And Israel's attacks on a Lebanese financial institution. Anyway, 16 minutes ago, this live page is about to close. But before leaving, let's have a recap of the latest developments. First, well, I didn't choose nothing just 16 minutes ago. I guess I'm reading the summary. Anyway, this live page is about to close. But before leaving, let's have a recap of the latest developments. There have been at least 13 strikes from Israeli drones, and the Air Force target 3 locations, Osai Jinnah and Hared Reik in southern Beirut. Lebanon's health ministry says the attacks have killed at least 4 people, including a child. The director of field hospitals in Gaza's health ministry says Israel is targeting the 3 remaining medical facilities in northern Gaza. The Israeli army spokesperson claims that a strike in Syria's capital killed the commander of a Hezbollah unit who was responsible for the transfer of weapons from Iran. Israeli authorities have arrested 7 citizens who they say were paid by Iran to collect intelligence for more than 2 years. An Israeli air raid on the eastern city of Baalbek has hit a building in a densely packed residential area, killing 6 people, including a child. UNRWA says Israel continues to prevent humanitarian missions from reaching areas of northern Gaza with critical supplies, including water, food, and medicine for people under siege. 31 minutes ago, opinion. Israel has taken human shields to a whole new criminal level. Niv Gordon, the use of human shields in war is not a new phenomenon. Militaries have forced civilians to serve as human shields for centuries. Yet despite this long and dubious history, Israel has managed to introduce a new form of shielding in Gaza, one that appears unprecedented in the history of warfare. The practice was initially revealed by Al Jazeera, but subsequently Haaretz published an entire expose about how Israeli troops have abducted Palestinian civilians, dressed them in military uniforms, and attached cameras to their bodies and sent them into underground tunnels, as well as buildings to shield Israeli troops. Read more here. A screenshot from footage obtained by Al Jazeera shows a Palestinian man dressed in an Israeli military uniform forced to walk around in the rubble of a building in Gaza. So bad. 46 minutes ago, U.S. Muslim group urges probe into Israel's use of human shields in Gaza. The Council of American Islamic Relations, CAIR, is calling on the U.S. Justice and State Departments to investigate recent reports of Israel using Palestinians as human shields in the enclave. Al Jazeera first reported on the Israeli military's use of human shields in Gaza in June, and other media outlets have since published their own exposes of the practice. The State Department and the Department of Justice must investigate these credible charges of widespread and systematic human rights abuses by military forces that receive weapons paid for by American taxpayers and used against a civilian population. CAIR's executive director Nihad Awad said in a statement, quote, "These abuses and the obvious and open ethnic cleansing of Gaza violates our nation's laws. The US provides Israel at least $3.8 billion in the Biden administration, and the Biden administration has authorized $14 billion in further assistance to its ally to help fund the ongoing war." That's absolutely right, the US is just founding and backing Israel, $14 billion. $14 billion. Palestinians amid the rubble of houses destroyed in Israeli attacks in Khan Yunis, southern Gaza, October 20. And 1 hour ago, Israel plans Gaza land grab as part of Messianic ideology. Israel's intensifying attacks on northern Gaza reflects the desire of its far-right government to seize Palestinian land historically viewed as being possessed by Jews. An analyst says, quote, "The Israelis are being driven by their objective of expansion. They want to take northern Gaza as a price to punish the Palestinians and teach next generations a lesson that once you turn against the Israelis, there will be a huge price," unquote. Hassan Barari, a professor of Middle Eastern politics at Qatar University, told Al Jazeera, quote, "The main component of the Israeli government follows Messianic ideology. It doesn't care about the international community. It doesn't even care about Israeli society. They want to expand because they feel this is their divine duty to settle the land. So this is the opportunity for them to implement their plan and get as much land as possible." I heard that. Yeah, a lot of analysts are saying that. It's better like this. So normally I read an economic news from Al Jazeera, but this time I'm just going to head to Russia Today. Very quickly, very straightforward. Russia Today. Russia Today saying October 21, Trump attacks dumb war hawk Cheney. The ex-lawmaker's presence on the campaign trail will anger Arab Americans, the former US president has claimed. We have a photograph, Kamala Harris on the left and Liz Cheney. Great supporters during a campaign rally in Ripon, Wisconsin, October 3. It's funny because I have I know some person. I guess this friend of mine, she is supporting Kamala Harris against everybody. So yeah, I guess Chilean people, they are all traitors. Anyway, former US President Donald Trump has hammered Vice President Kamala Harris for campaigning with Liz Cheney, a prominent a prominent neoconservative whom Trump accused of wanting to go to war with every Muslim country known to mankind. Cheney former, well, I'm going to smoke weed with Donald Trump. Trump accuses, Cheney, a former member of Congress and the daughter of former U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney, endorsed Harris last month and will tour the swing states of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin this week in a bid to drum up establishment Republican support for the Democratic nominee. Michigan is home to around 250,000 Arab Americans who reportedly favor Trump due to their opposition to Harris' position on the Israel-Hamas war. On the Israel-Hamas war. And definitely there's a lot of issues about geopolitical issues. So believe it or not, the candidate for Global South is Trump. Trump is the candidate against the war, against all these kind of wars. In a post on his Truth Social platform on Monday, Trump predicted that Mr. Cheney's appearance will further infuriate the cohort. Quote, Arab voters are very upset that Comrade Kamala Harris, the worst vice president in the history of the United States and low IQ individual, is campaigning with dumb as a rock war hawk, Liz Cheney, who, like her father, the man that pushed Bush to ridiculously go to war in the Middle East, also wants to go to war with every Muslim country known for mankind, he wrote. And you know, I have a problem with all these podcasts on YouTube. I cannot download it anymore in Big Conv. So bad. Because it was my favorite platform to download podcasts. If Kamala gets 4 more years, the Middle East will spend the next 4 decades on going up in flames, and your kids will be going off to war. Yeah, definitely. This Trump is absolutely right about this. So she doesn't care about her daughters. Who knows? Maybe even a third world war. Something that will never happen with President Donald J. Trump in charge. He continued, I miss myself. Who? Throughout her career in the U.S. State Department and on Capitol Hill, Cheney has supported the invasion of Iraq, opposed President Joe Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan, and advocated for military action against Iran. Her father served as vice president to George W. Bush and was one of the most vocal proponents of war with Iraq. He was also party to the fabrication that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction in the run-up to the 2003 US-led invasion, approved the use of torture on terror suspects, and green-lighted the warrantless monitoring of Americans' phone calls and emails. You know, there's a lot of things happening like this. Green-lighted the warrantless monitoring of Americans' phone calls and emails. Dick Cheney endorsed Harris last month, several days after his daughter, despite Trump's staunchly pro-Israel stance and previous attempts to prevent Muslims from entering the US. The former president has been endorsed by Amer Galip, the mayor of Hamtramck, a suburb of Detroit, and one of only two Muslim majority cities in the US. Trump, quote, assure me that his goal is to end the chaos in the Middle East and elsewhere. He doesn't want wars, Galip said in a social media post explaining his endorsement last month. Quote, President Trump and I may not agree on everything, but I know he is a man of principles, the mayor added. In 202, Biden won in Michigan by just over 150,000 votes, with 70% of the state's Arab Americans backing the Democrat. This time around, Harris and Trump are in a nationwide tie for the Arab American vote, according to a recent poll published by the Arab American Institute. And just like that, I guess it's time for smoke. I'm going to read just one from CGTN. Just one more from CGTN. I'm just using some sticks to take the phone there to yeah, I fixed the phones with sticks. So I'm going to read headlines from Russia Today. So no internet, what the hell? No internet. So internet is back now. Russia and Iran almost fully rely on national currencies in trade. Kremlin. Pentagon chief makes surprise visit to Kiev. Putin grants Russian citizens to American refugee. Huh? I didn't got that, but the EU doesn't need Moscow to interfere in its democracy. It has Brussels for that. Kamala will make the entire US like Detroit. Pop star promises. So yeah, terrible. BRICS can counter Western sanctions, media CEO. Yeah, I guess I'm going to Brazil, definitely. Russian nationals set to be on plane down in Africa. A new world order in the making. Here's why this BRICS summit will be special. I'm going to read this one. October 21, 2024, a new world order in the making. Here's why this BRICS summit will be special. The potential presence of the UN Secretary General in Kazan will send a strong signal that the world is moving towards a new architecture. By Egochi Behanzin, founding president of the International African Black Defense League, spokesperson of the Pan-African Brothers, political analyst and Pan-African activist. It's not too long. I'm going to read quickly. Kazan, Russia, 22-24 October is tomorrow. Preparations for the 16th BRICS Summit in Kazan. The upcoming BRICS Summit in Kazan, Russia, could mark a turning point in global geopolitical history. Faced with the slow erosion of the Western world order, a new balance is emerging, driven by a coalition that seems increasingly determined to chart its own course. This unique event brings together 24 heads of states from various nations, including iconic figures such as China's Xi Jinping. The inclusion of Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, in his assembly raises major questions about the current dynamics of global governance. The quest for genuine cooperation. Traditionally, the UN has been seen as a bastion of multilateralism, but its alignment with the Western powers is being called into question. This summit in Kazan could be the catalyst for a strategic repositioning. where the UN might seek to navigate between old alliances and emerging trends. The BRICS are no longer just an economic coalition. They are asserting themselves as a viable alternative to the traditional dominance of Western countries. The unipolar world, as we have known it, seems to be giving way to a multipolar era where several emerging powers are claiming their rightful place in the global decision-making process. Kazan Summit represents an unprecedented opportunity for the BRICS to draw a new map of international cooperation. The heads of state present will discuss a multitude of issues, ranging from the economy to security, including environmental challenges. By forming strategic alliances, this group, which represents over 45% of the world's population, seeks not only to strengthen its influence but also offer an alternative platform for developing countries that often feel marginalized, with traditional Bretton Woods institutions like the IMF or the World Bank. These discussions could lead to agreements that, depending on their scope, might redefine the rules of the international economic game. The West response. The West, rather than standing on the sidelines, is forced to respond to the growing and increasingly popular BRICS dynamic. Western governments, which often disagree and are divided over their approaches, may be compelled to reassess their relationship with emerging market countries. The current situation is marked by growing tensions, as illustrated by the declining confidence in Western-centered institutions. The stance of NATO and European actors towards the BRICS could become the focus of heated debates, highlighting an inevitable need for adaptation. By attending this event, Guterres is likely illustrating the UN's desire to revitalize its role in a changing world. His intervention could underscore the growing importance of South-South dialogue and exchanges aimed at establishing cooperative partnerships that transcend the usual divides. An opportunity for the Global South. This summit could also offer a window of opportunity for Global South countries which seek to make their voices heard on the international stage. These nations, which are often overlooked in global discussions, can benefit from the experiences and resources of the BRICS to establish development models tailored to their needs. The challenge lies in forging strong and lasting ties that are not solely based on economic foundations but also integrate social and environmental considerations. The future of multilateralism. Multilateralism, as it was conceived after World War II, is facing a period of uncertainty. Established institutions struggle to effectively address contemporary challenges such as climate change, growing inequality, and governance crisis. The BRICS Summit could offer a new vision of multilateralism, more inclusive and adapt to current realities. This model could create synergies among the countries of the Global South, proposing an alternative to the rigidities of the current Western framework. The future looks fascinating with the BRICS Summit in Kazan. This is not just a series of diplomatic discussions, but a laboratory for forging a new global architecture, as the West may witness a redistribution of power in international affairs. The developing countries represented by the BRICS are taking the reins of this transformation. So it will be substantial and not just a series of diplomatic discussions. Yeah. But a laboratory for forging a new global architecture. This summit could mark the beginning of the end of Western supremacy and the emergence of a new era where the voice of the global South is finally heard. The events in Kazan thus promise to have lasting repercussions on how we conceive the world order in the decades to come. Oh no! I guess I'm going to make a 1 hour video. I'm running out of time. I'm just going to read the headlines of CGTN, and says, politics. She calls on Anhui to write its own chapter of Chinese modernization. CGTN poll global respondents look to BRICS for answers. China sends emergency humanitarian medical supplies to Lebanon. World's SCI Tech Forum to host record international guests in Beijing. How China promotes global biodiversity conservation. I'm just going to read this one. It's not so short. October 21. How China promotes global biodiversity conservation. Nature. Globally, the rate of species extinction has been accelerating due to multiple factors, such as alien species invasion, climate change, pollution, and habitat loss. While populations of monitored animal species have plummeted over 70% in the last half century, according to the World Wildlife Fund. As one of the world's most biodiverse countries, China is moving towards the symbiosis of economic development and international protection, supporting global efforts on biodiversity conservation. Shared by China and hosted by Canada, a historic framework, namely the coming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, KMGBF, was adopted 2 years ago at the 15th meeting of the Conference of Parties COP to the Convention of Biological Diversity. As well, I'm going to leave this. China's action. In October 2021, China announced an initiative to establish the coming Biodiversity Fund, taking the lead by investing 1.5 billion yuan, over $210 million. In May 2024, the fund was launched, which will be used to support biodiversity protection in developing countries. So it's an investment. Also, China is striving to establish the world's largest national park system by 2035. So I hope one day live in China, and I definitely will not smoke weed there. I'm definitely will not smoke weed there. But by now I have some weed to smoke. And well, as I will smoke weed now, I have some oh, I got it all wrong. I have time. But yeah, I guess I'm going to smoke anyway. So I have some politicians here who I'm going to smoke weed with. I'm going to smoke weed with. The first one is Donald Trump smoking weed. So I'm going to smoke weed with Donald Trump. and Bolos. Bolos said he burned the joint, but didn't. No, he said he smoked it, but didn't like it. And this guy, maybe he never smoked actually, but he's a right winger. He's a Jesus freak. So I'm going to smoke with all of them. And Fernando Henrique Cardoso said he actually burned the joint, but didn't drag what he burned. What a crazy. So anyway, I'm smoking with all of them now. I guess the most funny to smoke with is Trump, and that's it. Just smoking now. Well, what I'm going to say now is absolutely stupid, like smoking weed. But I hope Macarena Ripamonti to win. She's my candidate in Viña the only one. Viña the only one. What? Viña the only one city. I guess you say council. She's a she's the she's the ruling major now, but I guess she only get elected back 4 years ago because of patriarchy, fights against patriarchy. There's a lot of corruption. I'm a Trotskyist. So I guess corruption is not an important subject, you know. I guess revolution itself is the only important subject. But right here in Chile, there's a right wing that promote the corruption, and the society back this corruption. Society likes this corruption, understand? Chileans love corruption. So that's going to be the name. And that's my limit. I'm stoned. I'm stoned. I did it. So I smoke weed with all these politicians, from right-wing politicians, and right and wrong, right and center left, and unfortunately there's no left. This guy, let me tell you, Brazil is not that easy, you know. Brazil, well, this guy was absolutely was absolutely criminal. This is a financial criminal, people. This guy, about, I don't know how much. This was Clinton. Fernando Henrique Cardoso is no. Boris Yeltsin, yeah. Fernando Henrique Cardoso, it was Boris Yeltsin. Terrible, terrible. This guy is just a crazy guy. A vampire. He's a vampire. Yeah, good idea. You know, I'm going to do this right away. Look, well, this guy is a fake from left, a left fake. This guy is an artist, and left fake again. Anyway, absolutely left fake. Terrible fate for Brazil. You know. I guess I'm going to do this first. Look, I'm going to do this very quickly. Look, very quickly. Oh, how much beautiful girls. Right away. Left fake. Oh, such a nice word. Such a nice word. Left fake. So this kind of things are super. I'm sorry, boys, but this kind of things are dangerous. You know. I know they are dangerous.